Hello, this video is me flying my X8 drone, Octobrick. It has 8 motors, it's loud, it's fun, it's just a big, silly machine that's really inefficient in how it sounds, but it brings a lot of joy. And it's also kind of a weird setup because there aren't that many X8s out there, especially since the frame currently is basically made of 2 frames kind of stitched together. And for some reason, this makes a lot of people really butthurt. A lot of people told me this thing can't fly, or it's going to crash right away, or the resonance is going to make it unstable, or that it's stupid, or that it's just too loud and inefficient. But as you can see in this footage, it flies. It flies pretty well. And I actually get really good battery life out of this, even though I'm just hammering the throttle all the time. So one message I have for you is if you want to build something weird, just do it, but with one caveat. If your idea is to build a 3D printed frame using mostly flat shapes, that's a bad idea. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but basically you need something really stiff, and current FDM 3D prints just don't make material that's stiff enough. And you could say, oh, but I'm using carbon and that should be strong, but carbon and fiber reinforced plastic depends on the fibers being really long. You have to imagine them as being the equivalent of rebar in reinforced concrete. If you use printed filament, those rebar sections are going to be tiny, just like the size of a popsicle stick. It's not long enough to do its job, compared to native carbon fiber, where the fabric essentially runs through length or width or all the dimensions across your entire shape, and they're locked in place with a resin, not just a plastic. Moving on. The FPV bandwagon in the current state of the hobby at time of writing is probably the most dangerous thing to the hobby. And so you're going to ask, what is the bandwagon? Who's this on board the bandwagon? And what do the crew of the bandwagon tend to represent? Well, I'll say that the crew right now is basically companies, and corporations are not your friends. They're generally trying to sell you something. And the rest of the peanut gallery on the bandwagon are mostly people who in the past used to be innovative and open-minded people, but now they've largely turned into this kind of cool kids club, or they think they're fighter jocks, and that mentality is unfortunately the vocal majority. And most of these people are actually kind of just parroting what they hear or what they see other influencers or other people are doing, and they're very fiercely loyal to these corporations, who are, again, corporations are not your friends. Most of these people are also not very imaginative, and they just expect you to build and fly exactly what they do using their exact list of parts and basically conform or die. Use these parts or you're a loser. There's just no room for the fact that people have their own opinions, their own use cases, and their own specific needs. I mean, some people want to fly acrobatic style. Some people want to fly cinematic and just, record stable, very clear footage without too much motion. Some people just want to explore. And some people just want to try a little bit of everything. Or they have one thing that they focus on, like diving down cliffs or mountains, or doing the other side of that, climbing a mountain and then diving down the cliff or mountain. There's room in the hobby for everyone, and you really should never feel like you're just gonna be pigeonholed into doing what is now the current trendy thing, which I guess is just, freestyle and abandoned, what they call bandos, in abandoned places, and just repeatedly crashing into all kinds of stuff and getting back up in the air again and just abusing the hell out of your frames. Basically, if you're in a forum, a chat server, or whatever resource you are in, and you ask a simple question like, what battery do you recommend? And nobody gives you a metrics-based answer, but instead it's just a chorus of tribalism. Get this brand, get this battery. If you don't, you suck. If you don't, and you don't even listen to me and get exactly what I get, you're a total blowhard. You don't belong here. Well, you're in the wrong place. You are on the bandwagon, and it's time to jump off that stupid vehicle and do your own exploring. There's a lot of positive resources online and in other places. I mean, two right away that always come up. Joshua Bardwell, he makes a lot of videos, and even though I don't agree with everything he says, he's trying to be a force for good. Oscar Liang, who mostly communicates with his writing, is also really good. I mean, if reading resonates with you, I think you'll probably like his approach better. And again, while every hobby gets this sort of elitism and just snobbishness to a degree, the problem in the FPV world hit it really hard, and it's really stark and unfortunate because other adjacent hobbies that I'm in, like planes and helicopters and cars and trucks of the radio control variety, went through the same phases, but I'm seeing it infect FPV like really badly. And precisely because FPV is really fun and cool and expressive, you're going to get a lot of these blowhards kind of just latch on to the hobby. And then there's the other angle, which I don't talk about, which are the war followers, the people who are about weaponization of the hobby. And I don't like to go there. I respect what FPV drones are doing in warfare, but I want no part of that as my personal hobby end of it, because that would be mixing business or pleasure, or that creates a conflict of interest that I don't want to go to. And these people are going to show up, but there's no getting around it. Every hobby is going to face this sort of growing pain. It's also facing an existential crisis in many countries because of the war aspect. Has turned what was a friendly or harmless hobby into something potentially very easy to weaponize. Again, we've seen this happen with radio-controlled planes. RC cars even went through this phase. In the 80s, there were a couple of movies that featured RC cars being used as weapons. And, when the panic died down, reality kicked in, and the initial craze and overreaction went away. But the risk is always there, and unfortunately with FPV drones, when you take a weapon to the air, it's just going to be that much more versatile. It is what it is. So in the end, if you want to build something weird, unique, and cool, just do it. Expect to make mistakes, expect to fail, expect to learn things, though, that you weren't expecting. And you will fail a lot, and you need to just get up. I mean, you might just get up and keep falling. But remember, just keep getting up, because one of these times when you get up, something's going to click, or everything's going to click. And it's all going to make sense, and you're going to learn a lot. So just do it. Commit to your crazy project. Take it in incremental steps. Have fun. Keep it fun. Give it your best. And I have faith in you, because that's the kind of stuff I do. And if I can do it, you can do it. And that's my message to you all. Thanks for watching. Take care.